7. Oh, 7. There he is. He came in for the video because he knew what I was about to talk about. I'm talking about how when I'm president, there's gonna be a 6-pack in every fridge. We're going to instill the death at 50 plan so that people have order in their lives instead of running around freely with their own ideas, because sometimes if you have too many options, then it can become too hard to choose. And so that grandfathering in the people that are living right now, from the day that the bill is signed, every child born will have a 50-year life expectancy based on the government approval. At 50, you've had time to have been educated, decided which direction you're going to go with your schooling, which will lead to what you will be doing in life. Choose wisely, you only get one. Gives you time to party in college, meet a girl in college, graduate college, both of you with your degrees, and have a few years, maybe 5 years of living, just both of you with the life that you wanted, that you knew you had time for, that you had to give direction to the processes, the thoughts, which would tell you what would make you happy. You take 5 years after university, probably graduating at 20 or 21, because you want a full life. And so you do the hard work in the beginning. Take 5 years of just being a couple together and then deciding to have a child. And you have a child and you raise it in these years. And it goes through pretty much the same process. Maybe giving them 25 years to have their first kid is too much. We'll give them 3 years to run around. That way. The children of yours in the Death at 50 plan see their direction too. They don't all have to take 3 years. Some of them can start earlier. And so you get to see your grandchildren grow older. But you get grandchildren. It gives time to have the grandchildren, which, you know, that's all I ever wanted to be, was a grandpa. And I am. Never raised a child. Maybe that's the deal with just wanting to be a grandpa without ever being a father, is that if you were a father first and then you're a grandpa that has to raise a kid too, that's doing the work twice. Why not enjoy it just once? But the point is, Death at 50 gives you time to see your grandchildren as toddlers, and there's a great joy in that. But you don't need to raise another child. You don't need to be there forever. Grandchildren might miss out, but it'll also stop the grandchildren from falling into their grandpa's train of thought so much that we can't move forward, like with some of these old policies that people have, you know. So there's a death at 50 plan too. And on the 50th birthday, everybody's sitting there, they have a big breakfast, and there's a cake on the table. And as soon as Grandpa's blowing out the candles, somebody's behind him with a fucking syringe in the back of his knife. Death at 50, motherfucker. He knows it's coming, but you know, nothing like blowing out the candles one last time before it's time to go. I got it all worked out. The funny thing is, I look and I say, what the fuck are you people doing? Just 2 days ago, I was saying how, geez, you know, it's, they're talking about how there are no jobs, but all the roads are fucking shut off. They're doing all this construction, and they're building new communities, like giant fucking suburb, the whole damn thing all at once. I'm like, holy fuck, roads are blocked off, and they're... I don't see where the problem is. And I just heard, well, I might as well say it now. Wait a minute. And I just heard closing bell on the stock market last week somewhere, because the step Danny, I said, listen to anything you want, you know, on the Sirius, and she's rolling through and she's going to stations she listens to that I don't even know are there. I'm like, you're listening to this? That's mighty adult of you. And we listen to the closing bell on the stock market. I've never heard that in my life. You see it in the movies all the time, but you hear the reality of it. It's just like going to a concert. It's weird. And then they talked about right after the closing bell with they said, yeah, it was way down, but it came back up, and it only closed it this short. And I was like, wow, that's an exciting day, I guess. And then I hear one of these things, they say, oh, look, just right after I'd heard the closing bell, there was a thing that popped up on it that said, look, we were down that far. Look how terrible they're doing. I'm like, you just left out the part where we came right back up and we only just lost a little bit. I'm like, you people are fucking saying anything you want. As I do. Well, what is it you really want to say? Is it worthwhile? Is it in any way socially redeeming? Is pure legend like to say it has no socially redeeming qualities? But this morning, I asked Alexa, Alexa, stop. She thinks I'm talking to her. I was just telling a story about her. I said good morning, and then she gave me a whole bunch of news, and it's talking about right now, this damn road construction has come to a stop. I'm like, me just after having said that, but it's come to a stop. And unless tonight they can raise the debt ceiling, make it to higher, and I'm sitting there thinking, holy crap. And they said this is like the first time in history something like this might shut down. I don't know. And I was like, what's the problem with this money? It doesn't mean anything. It's not supposed to in our country. Money is not supposed to mean anything at all in our country. We're supposed to just make more, because that's part of what we're supposed to be doing. If you look into readings, we're going behold the pale horse stuff right now. There it is. It's not supposed to mean anything. It's our purpose is to be in debt. According to this, behold a pale horse. If I say his name, that poor guy might appear. It's like saying Candyman 3 times. Milton William Cooper. Milton William Cooper. Milton William Cooper. Behold a pale horse. It's written William on there, but his name is... This is something I read. One of those things that came across me. I see, look, story of Jonathan May. There's stuff written. He's got citations and a bibliography and you know, the appendix and all that stuff. This one is the story of Jonathan May. Like many arrogant and foolish young men, I'm just picking up in the middle of it. I don't know how many pages it is. It's been a few years, at least 3 years since I've read it. No. Yeah. It was in 2016 I read it during the time of the elections coming up, you know, in that process. Like many arrogant and foolish young men before me, I tended to advertise my financial success. I grew headstrong. The local small-town police force began to watch me and became a significant nuisance, stopping me for tires, speeding, etc., etc. I've been through this. Traffic tickets, parking tickets in places where it was not illegal to park. Take it to court when, but I lost the time of my day to just have to go to court all the time for a while. Dude, somebody was listening to me at KSJS, San Jose, 90.5 FM. You know, I started a butcher business and again made a significant success of it, also in my hometown area. My success meant the loss of trade by any competition. My premises were burgled successfully, and soon insurers would not insure me. I don't know what this guy's getting at, but there's a bunch of stuff in here about how things were and how it all made sense to me when I was reading it in 2016. In this book, it speaks of a higher group of people that are directing us, and it speaks of us and how they direct us, and how at one point, see, people talk about the Armageddon coming together. It was really coming together, right? At one point it says that they would have it organized. We would have a clown for a president, somebody that was just a buffoon that nobody really could respect, and the rest of the world would look at him, and that was part of it, and we would lose some sort of, like, it's not even talking about us, it's talking about the way they direct cultures, and here we are part of that, and we were at the top. There's this whole myth that says America is the most powerful country in the world. They always said that, but I think the quiet ones are more dangerous. It talks about getting a buffoon like that, and in the process, they would be putting us in debt so much that when the time came, we would have to turn to them. Who are they? I always like to say they. When people say, who are they? I always like to say, they are the people that don't want you to know their name. They are the people that are feeding us with all this bullshit and having us pass it back and forth without being able to even know who they are, whom they are. And so here we are. We're now in a place of debt. And you know what? You can't blame whoever it is right now unless they were and there all along. And I guess whoever it is that's here right now has been there all along. But it was a process. It was part of having a buffoon for a president. And, well, it's just probably one more time that we need to make more money. It probably only takes this one last time to just make more money, because right now we're about to be default for the first time in history or something. Somebody's gonna come looking for their fucking check. And if that somebody that's coming looking for their check is the they that they talk about, and it's all outlined in here with citations and just they're real, it looks real. He got killed. We won't talk about that. The guy that wrote this. But if what he's like warning us about, or they are warning us about right now, they call it warning. If you look at it the right way, it's giving hope. I mean, look at how easily we are controlled by these people that can't even control their own finances. And if these people that can't control their own finances were built in some sort of design by these they that are out there, it might be that bit of chaos we need to grow stronger and trust the they that are out there, because they obviously have been following a plan for many years that's right in line with what they were doing. Let's quit talking conspiracy theory. Let's just become they.